Hello, everybody. Welcome to your formal writing workshop. We've been talking about weekly workshops. This is slightly different. This is where you're going to share your drafts with your classmates in peer review, and you'll have an opportunity to work with Emily or me for one-on-one conferencing to help you with your drafts. That is to say, at some point during the semester, I want you to work with both of us at least once. You get 10 points for working with each of us at least once. So you can use this opportunity for this essay and/or for the informational report. I suggest you do both. You can work with one of us one time and the other one of us another time, or work with both of us. It's all good. And so I'll give you more information about that in just a moment. Before we move forward, I want to clarify something that came up in some feedback I received after the weekly workshop video that I posted last week about plot. I think I led you to believe that the falling action is the most important part of the essay, when actually what I was trying to say is the reflection is. In a memoir or a personal essay, it's the climax, of course, is important. All the rising action is important. Everything of the essay is important. But wait, what makes it a memoir or what makes it memorable is the reflection, is the significance or theme that you wrestle with at the end. It's the takeaway message. Why is something important? Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, as I mentioned, doesn't have much in the way of falling action or reflection, and that's where you, as creative writers, step in with your own stories and spend a little more time with that. To be clear, falling action is where everything that was falling apart in the beginning, all the tensions and the complications and all the difficulties resolve. Things come together. So to illustrate with The Lion King, which is probably a better illustration. If you remember that story, Simba believes that he is not the rightful king because he blames himself for his father's death because Scar told him to. And he runs away and he denies his true self. And so he has complications along the way, denying his true self. And then he meets Nala, and Nala says, "You better come back. Things are bad." Nala is his girlfriend, right? She says, "Come back. The kingdom's a mess. Scar is a mess. You got to get back here." He comes back. They have a big fight scene. Scar dies, and Simba wins. Well, you see the resolution because the kingdom was a mess. It was dry. It was dark. Everything was miserable. But then things start to come back to life, and the animals start to live in harmony again, and things are better. And Nala and he get married, and everything's good. And he lifts the baby up, his new baby, the new future king, and we have the end. Well, the theme is, if Disney had actually done a nice job with that, it would spend a little time with that theme at the end and say, if you deny your true self, things don't work out so well. But if you live as your true who you are, then things work out a lot better. And look at that. Simba's king again, and the kingdom is happy. Yay! Okay, so you see what I'm saying? So it's a reflection, the meaning making that makes the story strong. So moving forward, what are you doing this week? You are putting together your essay. You're drafting it and you're sharing it in groups. So let's go through the module. Here's your overview. Doop, doop, doop. It's so slow. Brightspace is very slow. So you're going to compose a draft of your personal narrative. You're going to revise it between now and next week. Now, something really important to remember is that in good writing, and in college writing in particular, we don't assume the first draft is the final draft. That is not where we are in good writing. In good writing, we write a draft, we get feedback, we revise, we take it to the next level, then we turn it in. We'll talk about turning it in later. This is the part where we take it from that messy pre-writing stage and we shape it up, put it in some sort of logical order, we develop it, we get it as strong as we can on our own. We share it with others and we get feedback. That feedback will help us see it in new ways and we'll resubmit. I can tell you, I've been in a writing group forever, and I have drafted and redrafted the same essay, I don't know how many times, and I'm not finished with it. I'm just telling you, that's something professional writers do for the long haul. But as college writers, this is something you should be thinking about too. How do you revise and make your essays stronger? So, you're going to see your assigned readings this week. you have opportunities to share your work with me. You can sign up for a conference time. If you click on this link, it should take you to a sign-up tool called Calendly, and you can choose a half-hour slot. Be sure you have a draft ready to look at. Don't just show up and say, I don't know what I'm going to, well, okay, you can show up and say, I don't know what I'm going to write about because I can help you. But the more you have to work with, the more we can work together. So there are times available starting tomorrow and through Friday. I won't have time to meet absolutely everyone in both of my classes, but I'm not doing this alone. Emily's doing it with me. Emily is our tutor. Our tutor's office hours are here Monday through Thursday, 11 to 1. And so you can work with her. In fact, you get points for working with one or both of us, as I said, and you'll need to do that for at least once in the semester. So use these opportunities to get some extra help. Your workshop is in discussion, and I'll show you that in just a second. Readings and resources. Please read the outlining chapter and revising and peer review part 2. This is important. We need to understand the groundwork for peer review. Peer review is where you give thoughtful feedback that is honest, but not mean. You're never going to be mean to somebody else. If we're talking about putting our hearts on a page and sharing it with others, you are not going to be mean. But it is not helpful to say, oh, that's great, because that's not it doesn't give your author, the person you're working with, anything to guide them. You want to give helpful suggestions. You want to give encouragement. You want to say, that is cool. More of that, please. Or you can say, I'm confused here. Can you help me out? That kind of feedback is helpful, but don't worry, you don't have to go at this blind. I have a worksheet for you that will guide you to remind you what the prompt of the narrative is. And if you want to use the personal narrative outline, that's cool. Higher and lower order concerns are things that you're going to be looking at from time to time. Let's just take a look. Higher order concerns are thesis and focus, the big picture things. Who's the audience? What's the organization like? Are the paragraphs clearly developed? Lower order concerns are the punctuation, word choice, and spelling. I want you to spend more energy on the higher order concerns in your feedback. Yes, you'll spend a little energy on punctuation and so on and so forth, but this is the last step. This is where you polish the essay. If you don't have the structure and the meat in place, the punctuation isn't going to matter that much. Your peer review worksheet is here, and it will give you some guidelines as to how to help your classmates. It will open in just a second. There we go. So you're going to use this. You're going to read the, oh, I had it open anyway. That's dumb. You're going to read your classmates' essay, and you're going to answer these questions as you go. So your directions, you're going to submit your essay by Thursday. You need it to be complete. 3 pages is a draft. It has a beginning, middle, and end. You spend a little energy on that reflection. You've given us focused paragraphs. We know where the essay is going. It doesn't have to be perfect in every way. Like the lower order concerns, we'll get to that, okay? You'll get to that. But the higher order concerns, we need to see what the structure is. We need to see where you're going. You'll post that by Thursday. You're going to let your readers, you're going to be in groups. You're going to let your readers know, your group members know which essays you plan to read and review. So send them a little quick note. I'm going to read so-and-so's and so-and-so's. Then you have until Sunday to give feedback. You get 20 points each for each step. 20 points for submitting a complete draft. 20 points for giving feedback to each of the people you declare you're going to give feedback to. And you get stars in heaven if you respond with thank yous at the end, right? You read the feedback you receive and you say, wow, that was helpful, thanks so much, or thanks for trying, right? Anything, just because that's what we do as writers, as people in communities, as employees, as employers. We want to thank the people in our communities. That's what makes communities stronger, is that connection and appreciation for each other. All right, we're going to be looking for story and content. Is the story focused on a specific event or a specific learning experience, or is it focused, right? What's working? Describe it. How's the plot working? Does it have the exposition, inciting incident, rising action, bada, 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 right? Even if it's told out of order, as we talked about with sequencing, does it make sense? You're going to describe in sentences, not just with yes or no. No, explain. Explain so the reader or the author for whom you're helping understands what you're getting at, and so that I do too. Look for vivid detail, that significance or theme that usually shows up at the end of the essay, although it can be evident throughout. Organization, do we have paragraphs, right? Are they focused on a topic? Do we have transitions and time markers, before, then, after, because? Do we have guidance? Do you feel like you can get your way through the essay without getting tripped or lost? Beginnings and endings. We want to know that the beginning will set us up with that exposition, but it should grab our attention too. So what kind of beginning is the author using? Is it an anecdote or short little illustrative story? Does it put us in a setting? Does it raise a question? Does it give us some startling information? How does it grab our attention, and how does it introduce the main tensions of the story? And how about that conclusion? Does it wrap everything up? Are those loose ends pulled back together? Is the reflection clear? Are those tensions resolved? Those are the questions we're looking at for beginnings and endings. We haven't talked about title yet, but often the title is the last thing we put on our essay. It's after we know what the essay is about. So when we know what our topic is, that's cool. But what is our main idea? That's that significance or reflection. What is that takeaway message? So how can your title reflect those things so the reader can look at that title and say, oh, I want to read more, right? So the title should not be personal narrative. Just don't do that. But do give it a title that says something about the essay. Then we get to readability. Then we get to, how are the sentences holding together? Are proper names capitalized? Are the there is clear? The twos and the it's and the yours, all those, are those cool? You can make suggestions for edits. You can, if you choose to, you may make edits on the actual essay itself, or if you notice concerns that pop up every so often, or a specific concern that you'd like to call the author's attention to, you can write it here. And then please, in your own words, say what you think are the greatest strengths of the essay. Now that is really important, because as writers, we always need to know, is this really worth our time? This is me, I'm speaking from my own experience. I get a little, tender-hearted. I share my work and go, yeah, here are my, my organs. Please don't trample on them. And there might be flaws, there might be issues, there might be concerns that I do need to address, but that doesn't mean that the heart isn't beating strongly. So tell the writer what is working well. What are the strengths of the essay? That's really important. And then one piece of advice that you think would take this essay to the stars. What is going to give this the best result? Give that little nudge forward. And others will do this for you. Give as you would wish to receive. This is super important. Give as you would wish to receive. And ideally, you'll receive good feedback that will help you. That said, you are the captain of your own essay. If the reader misses the point and gives you advice that would take you off the path that you want to go on, that's actually good information. If they misunderstood and you say, well, that's not what I was going for, this isn't helping me. Actually, it is. It's telling you they didn't get it. And if they didn't get it, that means go back and make sure that you can put it in a way so they can get it. That's not bad information. But take what is useful, go forward with that, let it inspire you. You do not have to take the feedback you receive as concrete, specific, like I must do these things. Take what is useful to you. Take it to the next level. Let it inspire you. Let it take you beyond. Now, I will be looking for revision in your final draft. I want to see that you actually put effort into and growth into your essay. So take that feedback to heart. All right, so how's this going to roll? You are going to post in groups. Now, you might see different names in for your class, but you're going to be in one of 3 groups. I was not smart enough to figure out how to set up groups in Brightspace, so I just put groups. Put your names in these groups. So please, when you upload your essay, say group 1 or group 2 or group 3, essay title from, whatever, and then your group members will find you. Sorry, that's a little clunky. I'll figure it out next time, but I spent more time than I care to admit trying to figure that out, so that's awkward. You know the deal. Start a new thread. And that is really your work for the week. That is it. Now you say, oh, that's easy. No, it's not. You got to complete a draft and you've got to give feedback. This is going to take some brain power and some time. So again, in support of you, Emily and I will be available for conferencing. I will hold one workshop. Instead of doing the 2 workshops like I do typically Monday and Tuesday, I'm just going to do the one today. In that workshop, I'm going to demonstrate how one might review an essay. And we're going to do that together. And I will be uploading to Brightspace the Hall of Fame in which you'll see examples of essays by former students. So keep your eyes open for that. And join me at 3 o'clock today. This is Monday when I'm posting this video. If you can. If you cannot come, don't freak out. I will post it. You can take a look at it and let it help you out with your revision, or your reviews for your classmates. Now, this is your opportunity to go forth and help each other, and in helping others, you turn on a part of your brain that becomes the editor and the teacher, and when that part of your brain turns on for someone else, it's going to turn on for you as well. You'll see your own work with new eyes. So enjoy that process, give each other help, receive help, and I look forward to seeing what you do with your writing. Thanks very much. See you soon.